The newlywed wife, Monica said to her husband Nick when he returned from work, "I have great news for you. Pretty soon we're going to be 3 in this house instead of 2. Nick started glowing with happiness and kissing Monica purred. "Oh, darling, I'm the happiest man in the world." Monica smiled and added, "I'm glad that you feel that way, Nick, because tomorrow morning my mother moves in with us." A very good-looking man walks into a singles bar, gets a drink, and takes a seat. During the course of the evening, he tries to chat with every single woman who walks into the bar, with no luck. Suddenly, a really ugly man, and I mean really ugly, walks into the bar. He sits at the bar, and within seconds, he's surrounded by women. Very soon, he walks out of the bar with 2 of the most beautiful women you have ever seen. Disheartened by all of this, the good-looking man asked the bartender, "Excuse me, but that really ugly man just came in here and left with those 2 stunning women. What's his secret?" "He's as ugly as sin, and I'm everything a girl could want, but I have not been able to hook up all night." "What's going on?" "Well," says the bartender, "I don't know how he does it, but he does the same thing every night. He walks in, orders a drink, and just sits there licking his eyebrows." On the first day of university, the dean addressed the students, pointing out some of the rules. The female dormitory will be out of bounds for all male students, and the male dormitory to the female students. "Anybody caught breaking this rule will be fined $20 the first time," he continued. "Anybody caught breaking this rule for the second time will be fined $60. Being caught a third time will cost you $180. Are there any questions?" At this point, a male student in the crowd inquired, "How much for a season ticket?" The pretty teacher was concerned with one of her young students, so she took him aside after class one day. "Little Johnny, why has your schoolwork been so poor lately?" "I'm in love," replied little Johnny. Holding back an urge to smile, the teacher asked, "With whom?" "With you," he said. "But, little Johnny," said the teacher gently, "don't you see how silly that is? Sure, I'd like a husband of my own someday, but I don't want a child." "Oh, don't worry," said little Johnny reassuringly, "I'll use a condom." Death comes to collect a man's soul. When he gets to the man's home, he sees the man and his family are in the middle of a party. Death tells the man why he has come. The man begs Death to spare him, but Death insists that he must start at the top of his list and his name is first. The man sadly agrees but asks Death if he could at least finish up the party with his family. Death agrees and they invite him to join the festivities. While Death is distracted with the party, the man quickly moves his name to the bottom of the list. Death has a great time, and at the end of the party he's in a good mood. He turns to the man and says, "You know what? Since you treated me to such a great time, I'll start from the bottom of the list this time." 2 5-year-old boys are standing at the toilet to pee. One says, "Your thing doesn't have any skin on it." "I've been circumcised," the other replies. "What's that mean?" "It means they cut the skin off the end." "How old were you when it was cut off?" "My mom said I was 2 days old." "Did it hurt?" the kid asked inquiringly. "You bet it hurt. I didn't walk for a year." 3 women who worked together in the same office were fed up with their Mr. Always leaving early. One day, they decided to take matters into their own hands and planned to leave 20 minutes after the Mr. left. They were sure that she would never know. The women made their plans for after work as well. The brunette planned to go shopping, the redhead decided to hit the gym, and the blonde planned to surprise her husband at home. As they waited for their cue to leave, the Mr. finally left, and the women waited for 20 minutes. They then sneaked out, confident that they wouldn't get caught. The brunette went to the mall and shopped until she dropped. The redhead went to the gym and had a great workout before meeting up with some friends for drinks. The blonde, eager to surprise her husband, headed home. As she approached the front door, she heard noises coming from her bedroom. She crept up to the door and peeked inside, only to see her husband in bed with her mister. Horrified, she quietly closed the door and sneaked out of the house. The next day, back at work, the girls met up and discussed if they should all skip out early again next week. "No way," said the blonde. "Yesterday, I almost got caught." A guy sits at a bar in a skyscraper restaurant high above the city. He slams a shot of tequila, goes over to the window and jumps out. The guy sitting next to him can't believe what he just saw. He's more surprised when, 10 minutes later, the same guy walks back into the bar and sits down next to him. The astonished onlooker asks, "How did you do that?" "I just saw you jump out the window, and we're hundreds of feet above the ground." The jumper responds by slurring, "Well, I don't get it either. I slam a shot of tequila, and when I jump out the window, the tequila makes me slow down right before I hit the ground. Watch this," he says. He takes a shot, goes to the window, and jumps out. The other guy runs to the window and watches as the guy falls to just above the sidewalk, slows down, and lands softly on his feet. A few minutes later, the drunk man who jumped walks back into the bar. The other guy has to try it too, so he orders a shot of tequila. He slams it down and jumps out the window. As he reaches the bottom, he doesn't slow down at all. Splat! The first guy orders another shot of tequila. The bartender shakes his head. "You really are a prick when you're drunk, Superman." A mister was visiting the home of a family in his congregation. Their little son ran in, holding a mouse by the tail. "Don't worry, Mom, it's dead," he reported. "We chased him, then hit him until just then he caught sight of the minister. He lowered his voice and eyes and finished, 'Aye, until God called him home.'" A small tourist hotel was all abuzz with an afternoon wedding in which the groom was 95 and the bride was only 23. The groom looked pretty feeble, and the feeling was that the wedding night might kill him because his bride was a healthy, vivacious young woman. But the next morning, the bride came down the main staircase slowly, step by step, hanging onto the banister for dear life. She finally managed to get to the counter of the little shop in the hotel. The clerk looked really concerned and asked, "Whatever happened to you, my dear? You look like you've been wrestling an alligator." The bride groaned, hung onto the counter and managed to speak. "Oh God, he told me he'd been saving up for 75 years, and I thought he meant his money."